Hello everyone, welcome back to another election prediction video. This time we have Ruben Gallego, the senator-elect from the state of Arizona, up against VP-elect J.D. Vance. So I think Ruben Gallego would honestly be a pretty good candidate. He outperformed Harris by like 7 points in the state of Arizona. Harris lost Arizona by 5.4. He won Arizona by 2.2%. Even though Kerry Lake was a terrible candidate, I think a lot of that was him being a very good candidate to run in the state of Arizona. He really knew how to connect with Latino voters. He stopped the decline among them, and he also won over a lot of moderate Republicans and just centrist and moderate voters in general. So he knows how to win an election. And I think honestly, he would be a pretty solid candidate to run in a general election scenario against J.D. Vance. So let's get into the safe states. Iowa and Ohio, of course. I just don't think Ruben Gallego can do much to stop these right-wing trends in both of these two states. Ohio is Vance's home state, so he would easily win it. Iowa, again, it's just turning into Missouri at this point, just trending more and more red. Florida, even though Ruben Gallego has done well with Latino voters, I don't think there's much he can do to stop the bleeding going on for Democrats in the state of Florida, so I have this still as a safe red state. Vance would still win it by over 10%. Texas, on the other hand, I think you can reverse the trends here in Texas. I think he could make Texas a likely red state again because he did well with Latino voters. He knows how to connect with them. He knows how to campaign to them. So I think he could make Texas not safe red anymore. In New Mexico, I think he would do well with Latino voters, so I think he would win New Mexico in the high single digits. In his home state of Arizona, I think he would honestly easily win it, and I think he would easily win Nevada as well, which is a good benefit of nominating Ruben Gallego. He would probably win both these states by pretty good margins because of his good connections with Latino voters, and he just knows how to win over independents. So he's a good campaigner, and I think that would help him out in those two states. Moving back to the East Coast, I think New Hampshire and Maine would both be likely blue states. I think he would win over the independents in both these states. Maine second would go about likely red. While Nebraska second would go about likely blue. I think he would do well in the suburban districts there, like Nebraska second. In Virginia, I think he would probably do a bit better than Harris in the state of Virginia, stop the red trend going on in the state. North Carolina and Georgia, again, these are very reliant on high black turnout. In Arizona, there's not a lot of black voters, so we really don't have enough data to see how well he would do among them. But I'm assuming Vance would still carry North Carolina and still just barely win over Georgia here. It really depends on if Gallego picks someone from Georgia to be his VP. He could maybe pick Raphael Warnock, but that would open up the Senate seat there. So maybe he won't consider doing that. So I think Vance just narrowly wins over Georgia. Again, that Atlanta suburban region, a lot of the suburbs there are still trending left, and those are some of the areas Harris did better than Biden in the state of Georgia. So that's something to keep an eye on in Georgia going forward. But I think Vance would just narrowly take it. Minnesota, I think Gallego would win this state by a likely blue margin. Then we're down to the three Rust Belt states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I think with Michigan, I think Ruben Gallego would probably be able to do well with Latino voters in the state. It really depends on how Muslims swing, and I think once they see Trump in office, and Trump is just probably not going to cater to them at all, I think they're going to be voting blue again. So I think Ruben Gallego would be able to win over the state of Michigan here because I think he's just a good campaigner overall. I think he could win over those independents in the state of Michigan that lean to the right in 2024. He could win them back. So I do think he'd be able to flip Michigan back to blue. And really, it pretty much all hinges on Pennsylvania because Wisconsin, it doesn't even matter here. But I think with Ruben Gallego being a good campaigner, he'd be able to win over the state of Wisconsin as well. But it's always going to be a tilt blue margin because it's usually how Wisconsin goes. It's always a tilt margin nowadays. So then we're down to the state of Pennsylvania, and it's going to be down to the wire. So it's the kingmaker state again, like it was back in 2024. Those 19 electoral votes being so valuable. I think Ruben Gallego would be able to narrowly beat JD Vance here just because I think he would do better with independent voters. A lot just depends on how Trump is perceived in office here. But I think Ruben Gallego would be able to stop the Latino trend of them becoming more Republican here in Pennsylvania, probably win a bit of them back. And I think that would just help them enough in those urban counties in Pennsylvania, like Philadelphia. So I also think he would do well in the suburban districts like Bucks County. I think he'd be able to flip that back. So overall, I think Ruben Yeager would be a pretty good candidate to win the election here. He really would help out in Arizona, which gives him some wiggle room. He could afford to lose a state like Wisconsin or even Michigan. This could be a potential map. He could afford to lose something like that, which is a pretty big state in terms of electoral votes. Other than that, though, I think Gallego might be a pretty good presidential candidate to look at running in the future just because of how well he did in a Senate race. So, yeah, I think he's one of the better candidates for Democrats to run in the future. But other than that, that's my take on this race. I think Gallego would beat Vance in the popular vote too by 2%. So let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. If you have any other video recommendation ideas, I'm open to doing them. And let me know what you think of this matchup. Who do you think would win here? I'm curious in hearing about that. And anyway, if you're new to this channel, however, subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.